Yeah, so the conceptual metaphors you might want to look at. So this is the idea of how he is using these ideas, how they are the guiding sort of force of what he's trying to say. So you're emphasizing less the idea of content and here sort of the form or the formal mechanisms that he's working with. Again, I'll say more about these ideas when I get to the text. Double consciousness, and pick one: music, religion, family. So here is where you would use the conceptual metaphor of double consciousness, and then instead of talking about it in somewhat abstract or structural terms, you would be trying to make an argument about how he applies it to different topics, either music, religion, or family. Um, Education, enlightenment, and freedom. So he's big on education. He's big on the classical notion of education as being one of enlightenment and being one of freedom. This comes up in chapter 3 most fully, where he has the debate with uh, Booker T. Washington. Okay. Problem of historical consciousness, Reconstruction era. So this is largely in chapter 2. So he spends a lot of time talking about Reconstruction in chapter 2. Of all the things he could talk about, the Civil War, the Jim Crow era, uh, the post-Jim Crow era, if you will. He does, live, until later in that life part. All the things he could talk about, mostly Civil War, Reconstruction, or the Jim Crow era. He makes a big point of looking at the era of Reconstruction, which traditionally is seen as a failure, and he wants to rehabilitate the idea of Reconstruction. This is when the North tried to reconstruct the South and reconstruct African American culture through a social engineering project between the years 1863 to 1876. This was used by the South as a way of you know you know sort of proclaiming a type of victimhood on themselves, and so they were all about trashing the narrative of Reconstruction. But Du Bois in 1901, when he's writing this, wants to bring it back. So, you could look at this if you're into the idea of history. This could be something that you want to look at.